They say betrayal doesn't just break you, it wakes you up. I used to think love could survive anything. Until I learned that sometimes, the person who says, forever, can also be the reason you lose yourself. My name is David Cole. And this is the story of how the woman I loved the most destroyed me, and how karma destroyed her peace, without me lifting a finger. It all started like every other love story, simple, honest, full of dreams. I met Lisa in my second year of university. She wasn't just beautiful, she was magnetic. She had this smile that could calm storms and eyes that made you forget what you were saying. I was studying business administration. She was studying fashion design. From the first moment we spoke, it felt natural, like we had known each other forever. We were that couple everyone admired, young, ambitious, inseparable. I wasn't rich, but I was loyal. She didn't seem to care about money, or at least, that's what I thought. We would sit under the school trees for hours, dreaming about the future. She'd say, one day, we'll have our own home, our own family. I'll design clothes and you'll run your business. And I believed her. Because when you love someone, you believe every word they say. After graduation, life hit us with reality. Jobs were hard to find. Bills started to pile up. But I wasn't the kind of man to give up. I took a small job at a marketing firm, long hours, low pay, but it was a start. Lisa started a small online boutique. I helped her design logos, take pictures, even deliver clothes to clients. We were building together, or so I thought. But somewhere along the line, things started to change. Lisa became distant. She started talking more about luxury, about what real success looked like. She'd scroll through social media and sigh. Look at them, she'd say. Couples traveling, driving good cars, wearing designer clothes. That's the life I want. I try to reassure her. We'll get there, Lisa. Just give it time. But patience wasn't something she understood anymore. I began noticing small things. Late night messages she would quickly hide. Phone calls she'd take in the other room. New perfumes, new clothes, things I didn't recognize. I asked her once, is everything okay? You seem different. She smiled and said, you worry too much. I just want more out of life. And I believed her. Then one evening, everything changed. It was our anniversary. I had worked overtime for weeks just to surprise her with a special dinner. I bought her favorite flowers, lilies, and made reservations at the restaurant where we had our first date. But she never showed up. I called her phone. No answer. I texted. Nothing. I waited 3 hours. Still nothing. Eventually, I drove to her boutique, thinking maybe she was working late. When I got there, her shop was closed, but her car wasn't there. I tried calling again. Still no answer. Something in my chest told me to go home. When I opened the door to our apartment, I heard laughter. A man's voice. It echoed down the hallway, followed by a sound I'll never forget, her laugh. I froze. I didn't want to believe it. But when I stepped into the living room, there she was. Half-dressed. Sitting with another man on our couch, the same couch we used to plan our dreams on. The room went silent. Her face went pale. David, it's not what it looks like, she stammered. But it was exactly what it looked like. The man stood up, buttoning his shirt, and looked at me without a hint of shame. I wanted to scream, to hit something, to fall apart, but I didn't. I just said, don't bother explaining. You already did. And I walked out. That night, it rained harder than I'd ever seen. I sat in my car for hours, drenched in tears and disbelief. Everything I had built, every dream we shared, gone. I called my friend Marcus and crashed at his place. I didn't eat for days. I barely spoke. I felt like my life had ended. When she came to see me days later, I was too broken to argue. She stood there, looking perfect as always, and said, David, I'm sorry, but I can't do this anymore. I need stability. I need a man who can give me more. Those words burned. I remember asking, was love not enough for you? And she said, love doesn't pay the bills. Then she left, just like that. No tears, no hesitation. Just cold silence and the sound of the door closing. I spent months trying to understand what I did wrong. Was I not enough? Did my loyalty mean nothing? But as time passed, I realized her betrayal wasn't about me. It was about her. She wanted comfort more than connection. And in chasing comfort, she lost her soul. I moved out of the city to start over. New job. New environment. New people. But the pain followed me everywhere. In the quiet mornings, in the lonely nights. I kept replaying her words, "Love doesn't pay the bills." It became my fuel. I promised myself I would never beg for love again. I would never chase anyone who saw me as a stepping stone. I would build myself, not to prove her wrong, but to prove myself right. So I worked. Harder than ever before. Every day I woke up before sunrise, determined to rebuild what she broke. While others slept, I was learning. While others complained, I was planning. I studied business, leadership, and marketing until my eyes hurt. I stopped thinking like an employee and started thinking like a boss. Slowly, everything began to change. At work, people noticed my dedication. I started getting results no one else could achieve. Within 2 years, I was promoted to regional director. My salary tripled. My confidence grew. But more importantly, I had peace. Because I wasn't chasing revenge. I was chasing growth. Around that time, I met someone new, Amma. She was calm, kind, humble, everything Lisa wasn't. She didn't care about what I had. She cared about who I was. With her, I didn't have to prove anything. She didn't need grand gestures or luxury, just honesty and consistency. When I told her about my past, she didn't judge me. She simply said, "Sometimes God breaks your heart to save your soul." And I'll never forget that. With time, I started my own company, DC Solutions. It wasn't easy. I poured my savings into it and worked days that felt like years. But slowly grew. Clients trusted me. My name started to carry weight in the business world. In less than 5 years, I became the man Lisa thought I'd never be. Then one day, karma came knocking. A friend of hers called me out of the blue. "David," she said, "I thought you should know, Lisa's going through a rough time." I didn't ask for details, but she told me anyway. The man Lisa left me for had vanished after running into debt. He took her savings, sold her boutique, and left her with nothing. Now she was struggling, renting a small place, trying to rebuild from scratch. I hung up the call and sat in silence. I thought I'd feel happy hearing that, but I didn't. I just felt peace. Because the truth is, karma doesn't always announce itself. Sometimes, it just quietly balances the scales. Months later, I was invited to speak at a charity event. As I walked onto the stage, my eyes scanned the crowd, and there she was. Sitting in the back, alone, watching me. She looked tired, smaller somehow. Our eyes met for a second. She quickly looked away. I spoke anyway. I talked about resilience, failure, and how betrayal can become the seed of success. When I finished, the crowd applauded. Lisa wiped her tears quietly. After the event, she waited outside. When I approached, she said softly, "You look good, David." I smiled politely. "You too." She hesitated, then said, "I'm proud of you. I watched you on TV last month. You're doing amazing." I nodded. "Thank you." Then she said, "I made a mistake, David. I was blind. I thought money would make me happy. But I was wrong." Her voice cracked. I lost everything, including the only person who truly loved me. I looked at her, not with anger, but with understanding. "Lisa," I said quietly, "you didn't just lose me. You lost yourself trying to find something that was never real." She started crying softly. "Can you ever forgive me?" she asked. "I already did," I said. "A long time ago. Because holding on to hate only keeps you in the past." She whispered, "Do you ever miss me?" I thought for a moment. I miss who we used to be, not who we became. And with that, I walked away. That night, I stood by my window watching the city lights flicker. For years, I had imagined what I would say if I ever saw her again. But in the end, I didn't need to say much. My peace said everything. Months later, I married Amar. Our wedding was small and beautiful, no noise, no drama, just love. When I looked at her walking down the aisle, I realized, This was what real love looked like. Not perfect, not expensive, not flashy. Just honest. Years passed. My company became one of the fastest growing firms in the country. I was featured in magazines, interviewed on TV, asked to share my story. People always asked, "David, what's your secret to success?" And I always smiled and said, "Pain. Pain taught me what comfort never could." One evening, I received a message. It was from Lisa. She had found a small job at a local firm and was starting over. Her message said, "Thank you for forgiving me. I'm learning to live again." I replied, "We all fall, Lisa. What matters is that we rise better than before." And that was the last time we ever spoke. Today I'm at peace. I have a beautiful family, a thriving business, and a heart that finally understands, not everyone who walks into your life is meant to stay. Some come to teach you what love isn't, so you can recognize what love truly is. When I look back now, I don't see betrayal. I see transformation. Lisa didn't destroy me, she redirected me. She was my storm. But storms don't last forever, they clear the path. And that's what karma did. It didn't destroy her with punishment. It destroyed her peace with realization. And it rebuilt mine with strength. So if you're listening to this, heartbroken, betrayed, lost, remember this. You don't need revenge. You don't need to prove anyone wrong. Just get better. Let life speak for you. Because the best revenge isn't revenge. It's peace. Sometimes karma doesn't punish with pain. It punishes with realization. And it rewards you with peace.